Hey guys, welcome back to TohirT channel. Tahir is here. I hope you had a fantastic week. It's very nice to see you, as always. Well, as you have seen before, if you've been on this channel for a while, exposure to new things and new ideas is kind of my MO. Yet, the new show that I've watched throughout this weekend, I literally binge watched the entire thing, Ramy on Hulu, got me thinking about why it is yet again so important to remind everyone dipping your toes into the new cultures, into new ideas is so refreshingly important to how you develop yourself that I had to talk about it in this video. It got me thinking what it's like to be an immigrant in another country. It got me thinking what it's like to be a first-generation person in another country. And hopefully by the end of this video, you will either learn something new about your own culture and how you're assimilating with another country, or if you have friends who are of different ethnical and cultural backgrounds, well, you will learn how to tackle certain issues with them as you go along. And as this gigantic world becomes smaller and smaller, and as we learn how to mix it up with each other, well, I really hope that videos like this, content like this, will help us all understand that at the end of the day, we're all exactly the same. Let's do this. Ramy is a TV show produced by A24 for Hulu, the streaming platform. This is the only platform where you will find the TV show at this point on July 21st of 2019, and the story is very unique. It's a story of an American Egyptian guy, American-born Egyptian guy who's about 25 to 30 years old, who is living in New Jersey, and as a lot of other young adults, he's still trying to figure himself out. For all intents and purposes, he's an American. He was born in the United States and he's exposed to American culture, yet he lives with his parents who are Egyptians and were born in Egypt. He's surrounded by friends who, in their range of cultural differences, are anywhere between being fully Islamic Egyptian, like they almost were born and raised in Egypt, to those who are completely westernized, who were born in America and behave like what you would think an American would behave. I highly recommend the show. If you are anywhere from Central Asia, Middle East, Northern Africa, some parts of Southeast Asia, you will recognize a lot of the situations that Ramy, the title character, finds himself in. And Ramy Youssef, the person who wrote the show, who came up with an idea, and who also plays the title character, really got me thinking about those cultural differences and what it's like to come from a different background, from a different culture, and assimilate within the new country that you now call home. Well, surprise! I'm an immigrant myself. Well, I'm currently living in the United States, yet my background, I was born in Central Asia, and my family is coming from varied ethnical backgrounds. Check out my 23andMe video if you'd like to get the exact reference. And as I watched the show, as I recognized different situations that Ramy found himself in, it got me thinking about all the different things that I've experienced myself. The times when I would encounter the new ways of thinking, new ways of acting in particular situations that clashed with the way my home country taught me to behave, and I would have to go and resolve those issues one by one, and finding that line between me as a person, the new culture that I live in, and my more traditional, to my region, upbringing. And in a world where people move more and more, they immigrate to different countries, they settle, they find other people, they marry, they have kids, the topic of cultural differences and figuring out how to merge or mix different cultures is becoming more and more prevalent. And yet, when I think about Ramy and when I think about things that he had gone through, it reminded me of the fact that yet to this day, we still see examples when some of us stay closer with the group of their own, almost like they're afraid of the change, almost like they want to preserve the way they were raised, while the others just dive neck deep into the new culture and try to behave exactly like the new place tells them to. And someone like Ramy, they find themselves in between of that, in that limbo, not knowing exactly which way they should go. If you're looking for a silver bullet solution to a situation like Ramy finds himself in, that conflict, that limbo in between different cultures, I don't think there is one. Diversity, the cultural diversity, should be treated as a gift. We should cherish the fact that we get the chance to expose ourselves to different people, figuring out the ways they see the world and sharing the way we witness the events around us. Yet we cannot expect it to be an immediate resolution. It will take time. You cannot come in and say, here are the things that my culture does well, here are the things that your culture does well, now let's mix them up and ta-da! Man, I wish it would be that simple. Instead, we have to be accepting, we have to be understanding to the process and the duration that it takes for cultures to assimilate and become one. When you think about your parents, if you are the first generation, or if you think about your parents as an immigrant who moved to a new country just now, realize that the way your parents grew up, the culture that they developed together with their generation, was one thing. Now you represent a new branch of that culture, whether you are Irish, Arabic, Polynesian, Jewish, Japanese, whatever you are, we all go through the same. We evolve. We evolve in a similar way that nature evolves the creatures and plants out there. When you think about how they develop skills or traits to inhabit the new region, to inhabit the new world that we live in. Using the example of Ramy, the person who is an American, Egyptian, Muslim, growing up in the new culture, by the time he will have his own kids, by the time he will raise his kids, the way he will teach them, the ways he will teach them will be that mix of the American, Muslim, Egyptian culture that his generation uniquely developed, and his kids, as they run along with it, as they move to yet another country, and as they add new cultural aspects of that new country, they will develop yet another branch of that generation. It will happen. It is impossible to remain without any kind of change, and it is impossible to just completely palette swap and pretend like your culture doesn't exist and now there's a new culture for you. It will be an evolution. It will be the process of mixing different parts of it, and you will become the next generational interpretation of what that new culture will be for you. A lot of people are afraid of that, and I totally understand. Change is always scary. That's yet another topic that I've been discussing on this channel a lot. Yet, I fully realize, as a parent of two who now lives in the United States, whose kids are essentially now American, I cannot expect them to grow up exactly the way I grew up back in Uzbekistan. So we have to be understanding of that process where they will have to learn the cultural ways that I've learned, the cultural ways that I've brought back from home, and the new ways that they're going to learn going forward. I'm thinking back to the way our generation grew up, when we had to look back at our parents, see their ways and see how they were raised, accepting certain ideas, seeing how some other ideas clash with the way we see the world, and whether we had to go through those conflict resolution exercise as a kid, as a young adult, as an adult, we learn a lot through the process of parsing through that bucket of ideas, through that bucket of traditions, new ways the world now perceives that things should be. We had to figure it out. We had to mature through that process. And I quite frankly think my kids will have to go through the same, their kids will have to go through the same, and every subsequent generation in the future will have to go through that. That cultural shock that we all experience is nothing new. You do not even have to move out of your own country. As the technologies evolve, as the world around you changes, you have to go through the same even in your own country. I really truly believe that the happiness lies not in trying to pigeonhole ourselves in particular groups of cultural individuals, but rather be individuals who then express the ways they perceive their own culture. As I heard myself speaking through the last section, I realized if someone would watch this video as the very first video on my channel, they'll think about, oh, this guy's very philosophical and he just pushes philosophical ideas. Yeah, there'll be different things on this channel, just give it time. Trust me, we will range from being very philosophical to being really silly. And with that, I'd like to pause on this topic because it's impossible to unpack everything in a single video. I made it more of an intro to express how Ramy, the TV show, made me feel and the ideas that it got me thinking about. That's, I guess, the benefit of having a YouTube channel. You can just turn on the camera and rattle off your thoughts. And B, I really want to dig deeper into this whole idea about seeing how other people assimilate in the new culture. I have already the short list of different people and organizations I want to talk to. So as we go through this channel, as this channel evolves, you will see some of those interviews. You will see me coming back to this entire topic of the cultural diversity. And hopefully we will all learn something new about someone else or something else. And at the end of the day, we're all the same. I mean, trust me, between how you were raised, how I was raised, how we see the world, it's all the same with some minor differences. maybe my unique experience was going through those awkward cultural miscommunication moments in my first year when I moved here about 10 years ago. Believe me, there were a few of those. Maybe worth another video later on, not right now. Did you experience that kind of cultural dissonance in the past? Was it you trying to immigrate into the new place? Or was it your friend or some relative who is trying to move in and you've been helping them assimilate within the new culture? Like one of my friends tried to do by showing me a Chappelle show. Well, if you have some thoughts, ideas, or other anecdotes, like again, someone trying to explain to me American culture through Dave Chappelle's show, well, share those things in the section below. You laugh, but it is a true story. My best friend, who I met during my first year here in the United States, he truly and literally sat me in front of Netflix and showed me Dave Chappelle's show and tried to explain that, hey, a lot of the things that you're gonna see here are the ways the Americans do it. Yeah, I don't know. Some people say I assimilated pretty well, but I'm not quite sure if Dave Chappelle gets the entire credit. Thank you very much, guys, for stopping by. If you're new to this channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and check out the videos in the backlog. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you very much for stopping by. As always, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this video, and I will see you all next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, on this very channel. This is why I love YouTube. It gives me an opportunity to have a dialogue, me speaking through the camera, you speaking to me through the comments on various random topics. I think it's fun. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And well, I did see that it is true. Likes do help with the traffic and the positioning of the video in that search result. So if you have a chance, hit that like button as well, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.